Okay, so we're live.
Right. I guess good afternoon, everybody. We are back
Okay,
again, back to the spot.
so 1 minute. I'm going to invite people to enter the room. Okay, so let's start. I'll admit.
In today's world, building a competitive human capital is key. Hence, a transformative learning experience is a must. At ProSpark, we transform learning. We understand that every individual within every organization is unique with their own characteristics and training needs. Partner with us, and we will provide you a complete end-to-end tailor-made solution for your learning experience. Our learning management system is simple, user-friendly, and flexible. ProSpark is learner-centric and it sparks motivation and engagement. Complemented with a service to digitize your training materials into interactive contents and off-the-shelf training modules to enrich your training programs. Our vision and mission is rooted in empowering people. We listen, we solve, and we deliver. As your partners, we are committed to improve your training efficiency, reduce your training cost, and improve your learner engagement. Prepare yourself. Your learning journey starts here. Knowledge at your fingertips. ProSpark. Learn anywhere, anytime.
Prospark keren.
Prospark คือการเปลี่ยนแปลง
Prospark keren, inovatif, dan luar biasa.
ProSpark, แบรนด์ระดับสากล
ProSpark hay comunidad.
ProSpark es moderno.
ProSpark is cultureel.
ProSpark is adaptive.
ProSpark, dinosaurus.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to discuss this topic for this afternoon. So we're going to discuss tips for creating engaging e-learning content for LMS. So before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Ray Tadeo. I'm the co-founder of Learning Innovation Hub, and with me is my good friend Alpha. Alpha, please introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. How are you? My name is Alpha. I'm the CEO of and co-founder of ProSpark. And ProSpark is an e-learning platform to train, reskill, and upskill the workforce. We're a Singaporean company, and we're excited and happy to be here in the Philippines and other countries in Southeast Asia. So excited to be here to showcase you more about the tips for creating e-learning content. To be hosted on a variety of different LMSs. So happy to share some insights, and most importantly, showcase you what the e-learning content look like when they're on the platform. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alpha. So basically for this afternoon, we're going to do a different session for this fourth episode. For those who have been following us in social media, watching our video, and always attending this afternoon session, we do this session in a talk show format. So we discuss things in about the topics and everything about the certain session. But for this afternoon, we're going to have a hybrid of discussion. I know that you're really interested to learn about tips on creating engaging e-learning process. So for this afternoon, I'm just going to discuss a presentation, and after that, I'll invite my good friend Alpha to discuss how we can create and upload e-learning content using an LMS. Okay, so we've also invited someone who's going to join us later. She's Miss Jean Calacapa as an instructional design consultant to tell us about tips in designing or developing e-learning content. Okay, so I just would like to welcome again everyone who is participating in this webinar session, and for the people who are watching us in Facebook Live. Okay, Alpha, you want to say something about our topic this afternoon?
No, I think I'm excited to learn a few things about creating e-learning content, and excited to also hear from the audience the experience in the e-learning space.
Okay, thank you, Alpha. So, as I mentioned a while ago, this is a different platform or different methodology that for you who's following the spot. We're going to discuss how to create a great learning content. So I'm just going to give you quick rundowns on how to create a great learning content, if it's okay with you. Okay, so for this afternoon, we're going to share with you some of tips in creating good e-learning content or a great learning content. So why e-learning content is important? E-learning content is a content that can help you build the authority of your training. So if you're going to create an online training, of course, you need something to put or to discuss more about your training program. E-learning content can also encourage learner engagement, and content can also add value to your training programs. So what are the steps you need in creating an e-learning content? Of course, you need to define your learning goals. What are the things that you want to learn, or what are the your learners want to learn? So you need to define the learning goals. You also need to analyze your target audience and its training needs. So we're going to discuss, or we need to look at the needs analysis and look at that your target audience. And lastly, you need to define your learning objectives. So in designing effective e-learning content, you need also to analyze your topic. What do learners need to know to meet the learning objectives? What skills do learners need to perform the learning objectives? And what are the activities, tasks, exercises, case scenarios that can help learners understand the content? What are the most common mistake people make, which is related to the topic? And what are the most common questions that people ask, which is related to the topic? And what is the information that is considered obligatory? So with this, in creating your content, you don't need to put everything when you create an online content. You need to think of that content that you need to put in your LMS. So what are the information that is considered obligatory? And also, you need to know or to learn how do you assess the learner's knowledge. So you need to create some assessments. So in the LMS, there are some options that you can do to assess your learners. Okay, to analyze the existing training resources, you can use the following questions. Are there any existing training materials that can ease the content development process, which are presentations, documents, manuals, specifications, or videos? Because sometimes building e-learning content takes time. So we can use other materials or materials. You can recycle the materials that suits your training needs. Do these materials contain all necessary information? If they are outdated, you need to create new materials, which are interesting and engaging. You also need to check the feedback and quality of your training materials, what learners like and what learners dislike. Of course, you need to check the quality of your training materials. Maybe uh, the learners doesn't understand your training materials. You need to do a lot of testing. Is there any missing information? Of course, you also need to check if everything is already inside the training materials. And why wasn't the training considered successful before? If you're going to use or analyze the training before, you need to check why is it the training why is the training is not successful. You need to analyze, you need to evaluate those kind of things. And in building your content materials, there are some two theories behind that. So we discussed the adult learning theory of Malcolm Knowles and Robert Gagne's 9 events of instruction.
Hi, Ray. I think, okay. All
Hi,
right.
Alpha.
Okay, back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. Sorry, everyone. There are some internet problems. Anyway, so where did I stop, Alpha? Have you?
I think you were talking about the Malcolm Knowles.
Okay. So I just want to share with you about adult learning principles of Malcolm Knowles. I know that some of you here are trainers, some of you here are teaching professionals. So when you teach professionals, you need to have the training that have a direct and immediate impact on their daily job duties. So of course, when we create our e-learning contents, we must make sure that the contents has direct impact to their daily job duties. It's not more. It's we should avoid more on the theories, but we should put in our contents more on the applications. The training needs to be a problem oriented. Um, we also need to look at the problems um, faced by our participants. So when we conduct adult trainings or adult learning process, we focus on the problems. Adults prefer to learn through their experiences. We have this 20, 30, 50 principle where 20% focuses on the training itself, 30% focuses on the mentoring, and we have the 50% focuses on the experiences. So people learn in their experiences, people learn from their mentors, and people learn from the training that we conduct. Adults prefer to have a say in the training development and assessment process. So when we conduct training or we create content, we should have this training needs assessment where adults or where participants can check the effectivity of the learning contents. And also after every training, people should evaluate the training program. Okay, another theory is about Robert Gagne's 9 events of instruction. So, to gain learners' attention right at the beginning of the training, to achieve this, you use an interesting example or a task that they need to complete. So, when we conduct trainings, especially in LMS, we need to have a pre-activities or pre-work for participants to enjoy. So you need to get the attention of the participants who will attend the training programs. Maybe later, Alpha could share those kind of things. When you also create training, you need to present your learning objectives. Your learners are adults, and adults want to know why they need to take the training, what is it for them, and how the training will ease their day-to-day job duties. Learners use their current knowledge and include activities that will make them apply what they already know. So we also need to present the content and provide learners with new information, guide learners and supplement the content with a lot of examples, make learners use what they just learned and include tasks and exercises that relatable to their real life. We need also to provide feedback, give learners regular feedback about their performance, test learners' knowledge, assess what they learned during the training. And lastly, we help learners remember and use their knowledge and skills. We provide learners with additional resources, documents, web resources, etc. So it's important in creating learning content that you put a lot of relevant materials to the learners so they can use it and the learners could remember the training that you are going to execute. So when developing an engaging learning experience, a learning management system platform make learning more efficient with many effective features. LMS should have visual experience, meaningful and interaction, and LMS must have gamification. So for the visual experiences, you can see that in LMS or in e-learning design or content, you use a lot of graphic design principles such as color, contrast, repetition, alignment, and balance. We also include in our LMS videos, case studies, images, questions, and problem solving. And also, we need to gamify our learning management system through leaderboards, points, certificate badges, and course currency. Some of the LMS are being connected with certain vendors. If a participant finishes a certain course, some courses can be converted into tangible rewards. So basically, those are some of my tips in creating engaging e-learning content management system. So now I would like to invite Alpha to tell us more about how to create engaging e-learning content using LMS.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I guess before I get much into my experiences in seeing different type of content, created, I would like to hear the feedback from the audience. I think we have Eric, Alvin, I think Gianna, Francis, Anianto, Besalda, Grace. It's a very nice, small, intimate crowd for us. That's good. What has been your experience, I guess, creating content? What are some of the challenges you're facing? And most importantly, are you using any LMS to share that content? So I guess maybe it's okay to open up the mic. I don't know whether you want to speak on the mic. I want to make this more conversational since you just saw a presentation. So I guess maybe we would like to know from the audience your experience in e-learning, how you have created content, what are some of your challenges, and what are some of the LMSs you're using at your company. So please go ahead. Any questions? Any ideas? Any views? Any testimonials? Any volunteers? We can unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. Okay. Do you want to share, Evan, any thoughts on the chat? If it works, you can. Yeah, I think I've seen some of the messages on the chat from Francis, right? So we're just curious to know, how are you using e-learning? How are you developing different e-learning content modules? So if you look into the chat, I think some of you all have some experience with e-learning. I think you're using Moodle. I think Moodle is a platform to disseminate and share your learnings to your ecosystem. I think when you look into, if you look into solutions, the most important thing is, as an HR director or an L&D director, you have to understand your users. It all comes back to the user, right? When you think about your company, when you think about your organization, whether it's for profit, non-profit, when you think about the users who use your product, what's going to motivate them to learn, right? And I think we see this in our clients. Sometimes they forget that, or they do some part of it, but they don't do the whole complete cycle. So because companies want to train their employees, but an effective training solution is an engaging content. Number one, that's not too long. That is gamified. that actually involves the user, you know, to really understand the information that is being trained. How do you measure success? I guess maybe retention rate, right? In terms, I mean, retention rate of the material. Most importantly, how is that employee developing their skills and competences? But also, it's a combination of an LMS. So the solution is between a very engaging, simple to use LMS solution, at the same time, a very interactive, gamified, not too long content are the most perfect solution for trading or engaging your ecosystem, right? We know that nowadays people are spending most of their time on their mobile devices. They're on YouTube, right? You'll see on YouTube nowadays, YouTube will alert you that, hey, this video is only 2 minutes, it's only 1 minute before you even look at it, because they know that most people, they don't want to watch a video, maybe that's more than 5 minutes, right? They have the data already. Or there's a reason why YouTube is alerting us before we even look at the video, how long the video is, you can preview it, because I'm sure they also realize that the most consumed content on YouTube is short clips that gets to the point. I think that's a very striking viewpoint for us, because we believe that the best content and the best learning experience is a learning experience that's driven by the user, that clearly address the user motivations, and most importantly, that really drives the focus of providing the knowledge and transferring the skills to the person who's going to be training, right? So I think that's something that's very interesting for us to to notify. And another issue is what we have seen in the market, or what most of the studies are before, is historically people would develop long content, and long content used to be associated with it's good content, right? But we know there's no correlation between long content. There's no direct, there's no direct correlation saying the longer the content is, the more high quality the content is, right? We now know that prolonged, endless content, that could be 25 slides, or that could be whatever you're developing, most likely people can just only read 3 slides or 2 slides and they're already done, right? So before I showcase you examples of interesting content I have seen being developed in the market via our ProSpark platform, I think it's very, again, important to highlight your understanding of your users, right? Let the user do the developing of the training through the insights you gather from them. Speak to users, right? Get feedback. Understand how they're learning. Understand what motivates them to learn, especially when everybody's on the mobile device. So even if you develop content, does it fit the mobile device? Is it in portrait? Is it in landscape? Right? What's going to motivate your employees to learn, right? So I would say content that really addresses people's needs and expectations is the content that's driven also by the end user requirements and expectations, right? So I guess what I would like to do, I don't know, any questions with what I just shared? You can just type into the chat before I'll show you examples of what a very good content that was developed by a client using our product. I think this is an interesting one. So happy to showcase you what that looked like, what that experience involves. Okay, so I'm just gonna log in quickly. Okay, I'll share my screen. All right, I'll minimize this. I'll make this big. Just wait. Okay, all right, I'll share my screen. So what I'm about to do is I'm logging into the ProSpark Learning Management System. This is our product that's being used by so many different companies in the Philippines, so many different companies in Indonesia. Our product is helping companies and enterprise to train and educate the employees or their partners anywhere, or even customers, anywhere, anytime. So I'm going to log in as a user. Let's say I'm employee A. You will see what that experience looks like. So I'm logging into the platform. Okay, so this is the learner. So welcome back to the platform, Alpha. Okay, everybody. See, that's going to go away in a minute. So this is my dashboard, okay, of what the product looks like. Let's say I'm employee A. I'm logging in from Manila, Cebu, Jakarta, Singapore, United States. You can access the product anywhere, right? So this is where you see, these are your point system. You can see a leadership board. And now, I just show you your courses which you have been assigned for, your to-do list. So now what I would like to do is to showcase you an example of what that course that has been created. I think Ray emphasized more about SCORM file, interactive learning, engaging learning. So I want to showcase you what that product of a SCORM file look like, something that is interesting for us, okay? So I'm the user about to take a course in Prospect platform, okay? You can access the product on web or mobile, that's fine. So we would like to show you an example of an engaging content, okay? So I'll start the course, okay?
Hello, everyone. In this short video, you will learn about the concept of mistake-proof and zero defect with some quiz or question. Are you ready? Let's start. The concept was formalized and the term adopted by Shigeo Shingo as part of the Toyota production system. It was originally described as Bakayoke, but as this means foolproofing or idiot-proofing, the name was changed to the milder Pokayoke. Shigeo Shingo said that there are 4 purposes of improvement: easier, better, faster, and cheaper. These 4 goals appear in the order of priority. Mistake proofing, the ultimate goal, using wisdom and ingenuity to provide methods and devices that allow you to do your job 100% defect free, 100% of the time. Mistake proofing, the philosophy. Question: do you know how does an error happen? The answer is, you should recognize that not just people, but machines and processes make errors. Refuse to accept human error as an excuse for the root cause of a problem. Use simple, creative, and cost-effective ideas to overcome human and mechanical errors. Establish a zero defects standard. Please recognize that achieving zero defects is everyone's responsibility. Everyday examples of mistake proofing. Auto shut off irons so we cannot make the mistake of leaving the iron on all day. Pause and serve coffee makers so the coffee stops brewing when the pot is removed. Automatic sinks in public facilities so the water cannot be left on when someone walks away. Circuit breakers that trip when they are overloaded. 3-prong outlets so we cannot make the mistake of...
Okay, so what you see in this content is something I consider as a very interesting content, right? The design of the content really understood exactly what the main goal is of the content. It's actually laid out at the very beginning of the first slide, right? Or the first session of this first segment of the content, right? The main topic is how do you do mistake proofing? Let's say you're working in a utilities company, a manufacturing facility, or a bank, right? How do you check for defects, for example, in equipment or in a building, right? And from the get-go, the design of the content already placed that mistake proofing as the main core focus of the training itself. And then they really went through the key points, right? To see the main issues of what happens if you don't do mistake proofing, and that's already clearly laid out. So, you know, this is a very good example of an interesting SCORM file, simple, easy to develop, cheap, but it really catches like the user, user imagination, especially when they take a course, right? And I can tell you, this course came in from a 25 slide deck, and they managed to condense this into 5 minutes, all right? So if I'm watching this, I've already know exactly what the topic is and what are the challenges of mistake proofing, what are the consequences if you don't. and how you do mistake proofing, right? And everything condensed in 5 minutes. And then you can take some of those learnings and use and apply those in your day-to-day job, right? So I think this is a very good example of a very good content that really address that. So, and then of course, after a course like this, you can take a test. I mean, this is just for the platform, right? Okay, next, you can, this is just whatever you've learned, you can, I think I failed the test. Okay, fine, all right? So, I'm always failing this test all the time. so this is a very good example, right? Let me show you another. Let's see, I think we have another one. I think it's on ethics, okay? Another good example of another SCORM file. Okay? It's a different set of an example right now, okay? So let's see. Okay, there you go. You can see my screen.
Welcome to Motivational Ethics. Every choice has a consequence. I'm Kelly Vandiver, and with me we have ethics expert Chuck Gallagher. Welcome, Chuck.
Great to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, why don't you tell folks a little bit about yourself?
Well, as an international ethics speaker, I have the opportunity to talk to audiences really all around the world about.
So this is a different type of a file of a e-learning video, right? So it's a different quality. Of course, it's different. There's different prices in the content itself. At the end of the day, it's all about what is the consumption of your content. Are you targeting the senior managers, the mid-level managers? What is exactly about ethics you want to convey, and which characters you need to involve in your storyline, right? So I think there's so many different variety of some of this content, right? In terms of how the content feels. Of course, you can do different episodes and different chapters on the content.
Took those steps. I thought about my wife.
Yeah, I know.
I thought about my
right. So
that define my.
So I think it's just a matter of finding the right characters that can connect to your audience and really take them to the next level, right? So all we're doing here is just to showcase you the benefits of developing engaging content, short content that really address the core of the topic areas you're trying to address. If you develop content that's not engaging, people will just skip it and go to the test and guess, or they'll never look at it. So I think that those are some of the things Ray has been emphasizing, on his test and things like that, right? So luckily, I think I passed this test in the ProSpark platform. So then once the user has done all these things, right? You can get a badge, for example, things like this, right? So you've already got a certificate, right? And then your user is more than happy, right, to say, oh, okay, fine, I've already finished my test, I've already passed my test, the content was engaging, I understand things about ethics. Now I am qualified to be the ethics compliance officer in my company, or ethics advocate in my company. So I think this is why it's very important. I think the key is, you saw within the platform, easy navigation. All your SCORM file can be hosted efficiently. I'm not sure what some of the LMS, some of the attendees are using, but I think the key thing is having a simple LMS that can host all kinds of your e-learning content in a centralized area and be able to share that information to users, I think is the key for the recipe for success. So I think this was the core focus, just to showcase you the different content that's available out there in the market, and why we think interactive, engaging content that's gamified, like what you saw there, is more important, right? I think the PDFs, the PowerPoint's time is slowly coming to an end, unfortunately, because I think most of the millennials are just tuning out, right? I mean, if you're uploading 25 pages of a PDF, I'll guarantee you maybe 5% of the people looked at it out of 100. So I think it's more important for companies now to really think of how you can revamp your content development strategy. Who are you developing the content to? and making sure you listen to your users, right? And after you develop it, put it on your platform and see how it looks, right? And how it engages before you publish it to the users. Because the moment the users use it, they look at it, they don't like it, they already either they exit or you can actually lose their engagement. So I think that's all for me from the Prospark side in terms of examples of e-learning content that could be hosted on a variety of different LMSs, which Prospark is a very good example for it. Over to you, Ray.
Thank you, Alpha. Thank you for sharing your experiences on e-learning content development.
Yep.
Alpha, because of this pandemic, a lot of learning and development practitioners shifted from PowerPoint presentation that I did a while ago, and the online presentation that you've presented a while ago. So it's a really challenge for the learning and development practitioner to translate their learning contents into e-learning contents, because as I mentioned before, that people are fond of creating contents in their classroom settings, which we cannot do it right now because of limitations in the pandemic. That's why I guess there's a rise on the use of LMS to substitute that classroom setting. And another competency that the learning and development practitioners, how do they develop their contents?
Yep.
We've been discussing about SCORM files. So how do we create those kind of SCORM files? Videos. I guess you can create a video or a teaching demo using your mobile phones and edit it and put it in a learning management system.
Absolutely.
So basically, Alpha, how can we teach our audience, or how can we teach the trainers here on how the easiest way on how to create a learning content?
No, I think teaching is one thing. I think the best way to learn is by doing it. Right. So if you're a learning practitioner, if you're a teacher, if you're a trainer, if you're an L&D director, this is your focus. Right. So what we know is companies, they do two different things, right? Companies actually they have their in-house content development team. When you think about content, either they have instructional designers, or they actually have their content production studio, whereby they actually do, video shoots and things like that. But with COVID, things are a little bit complicated right now, right? To do a full-blown studio and different scenarios, mapping and things like that, right? Because you have to go to many different touch points, and it's expensive, right? So I think the best way to learn how to do this is, right, there's so many free content authoring tools out there in the market, right? A very good example one is you can try, Adobe. Adobe have a very cool content authoring tool, right? It's free. You can actually, subscribe to it. Within the Prospark ecosystem, we also have our own content authoring tool that allows users to develop their own content. So if you, for example, subscribe to Prospark, we can push that authoring tool. But I think the challenge is sometimes, for example, in the Philippines, the market might not be ready for people in-house to do their own content development in-house, right? Because you have to learn about the skills, you have to understand the different technologies. But I think what we see in companies, right, not the whole country, but what we see is there's some industries already in the market that already have the technical know-how of how to develop content in-house, right? So they have a full-blown instruction design team, they have a full-blown production team, and they're using different content developing tools. The biggest challenge they face is this. Let's say they're using an LMS already, and then they develop a content on a technology that is not compatible to the LMS. That could be a problem, right? So not all content you develop is compatible with your existing LMS. And I think you also need to work with your IT team to make sure that those technologies are compatible together, because developing content can take 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months. It depends how long the content is, how complex the content is, and things like that. So, there's some very cool free trainings available on how to do content authoring. But what we are also building and pushing at ProSpark is if you're our customer, you can actually create your own SCORM file within ProSpark. We can actually create micro learning modules within ProSpark, and they can stay within your company platform, and you can share it across the board. The tool is going to be cool because it gives you step-by-step guide, right? And we give you a menu option. What type of a SCORM file do you need? How long is the courses? What kind of a storyline do you want to have? And you can pick and select and really put your storyline. You can choose the characters. You can do all the voiceover within the platform, because we believe that providing you that flexibility, one-stop shop is the most important experience from a company perspective. So yes, I encourage everyone to try a variety of different content authoring tools out there in the market. I think I already mentioned Adobe is an interesting one, but there's so many different ones, right? I think Blue Jeans is another one also. There are so many different tools out there that are free. And the best way to do it, you just have to learn how to do it. You just have to sit there for a couple hours. You have to develop different modules and share with your friends and see how they like it. So I think that's the way we look at it. But again, if you have ProSpark, you already have some of these tools already.
Yeah. You know, Alpha, based on my experience, because I'm using Moodle, and Moodle it's a very hard. Uh, you need to have a coding skills. You need to have other tools to create contents in a Moodle platform.
Exactly.
It's nice if you have an LMS that it's a complete package of LMS.
Yep.
You can create your micro learning sessions in that LMS, and you don't need other authoring tools, because I guess I was looking at an authoring tool that cost around 60,000 pesos per year. So
that's a lot of money.
It's like the articulate storyline. I'm the Rise 360. It's a bit expensive for who cannot afford those kind of things. But glad to hear that ProSpark has that capability to create your online learning content using your LMS.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's where that's where we see the market going to, right? We know in companies, right? As we already said before, and you also mentioned that Ray, that sometimes it's just complex to develop the content in-house. Not only complex, it's time consuming, right? How many people do you need to develop an e-learning module for 30 minutes long? You need a lot of, and how many can you develop from one person every month? Most likely every 3 months, you only develop one person, one content module. So that's not scaling, right? So let's say you're running a utilities company or a bank, and you have risk management trainings, cybersecurity trainings, money laundering training. So you have to churn out all these different training modules at a faster rate. So one person cannot do it, So I think it's very important to start to think of a one-stop solution and finding the right people who are comfortable who understand the intersection between the LMS and the e-learning module. The biggest advice for you is this: before you develop your content, make sure the technology is compatible with your existing LMS. That's my biggest advice I'll give to anyone today, because I've heard so many stories from my customers. I speak to HR directors, I speak to LN directors almost every hour, and they have been through this before, because it's expensive to develop some of these e-learning modules. I think you're mentioning 60,000 pesos per year or 90,000. I mean, the numbers can be crazy. It could go to waste if you don't utilize that first step effectively, right? But the benefits for us at ProSpark is our product is compatible with a lot of different technologies, right? Most of the up-to-date technology market, our platform is compatible with it. And if it's not, we also give you product guideline of how to do it. Sometimes if you don't do it right, you have to convert it to a compatible technology. That could cost you money. You might lose some of the quality, and it's just so much, time consuming. So my advice is take some time, understand what you're developing, how it fits within your learning management system infrastructure, so that you don't have to do double work.
Yeah, investment in a good structure is very important, Alpha.
Absolutely.
I would like to ask people if you have any experiences or any how do you say this, questions on developing online content, because I know as a training practitioner, we've been doing the traditional e-learning content. So do you have any questions on Alpha about how to design e-learning contents? You can unmute your mic, or you can maybe type it in the chat box. Okay, I guess they are still discovering Alpha. They're
Yes.
thinking on how can they do so those kind of things.
I mean, maybe the question to ask them is: has anyone in the room ever developed content before? Let's start there. I want to see yes or no. You can type.
Or you can raise your hands.
You can raise your hand.
Show of hand.
Have you ever developed any content before? Okay, well,
Okay.
I hope. So I just assume maybe no. Maybe that's the answer. I'm just assuming, right? So I mean, so let me ask. I think Pak Haryanto is very much in the education space, and I know he's very involved in developing content. What are some of your challenges you've faced when you're developing content? Okay. Oh, just a digital toolkit. Okay, very good. That's a good experience. What are some of the challenges you face when you develop your digital toolkit or when you develop your content in your current situation? Can you type in, or if you want to speak, we can unmute you.
Okay, let me start. So like what you said, like what Alpha said, I'm actually working at the university, but my area of research and passion is actually learning and development in companies. So I've done interviews with some HR people in companies. Oh, by the way, hello from Indonesia. I'm in Indonesia. Based on my conversation with them and based on my own experience in creating content, one of the problems companies have with LMS is that too often content that is stored in the LMS is not touched by the employees. So what often happens is that they create the content, they put the content in the LMS, but very few people actually use them. Based on your experience, how do you make people actually, access the content, the courses, and actually use them? I have my own opinions about that, but I want to hear, from you. Thank you.
Great, go ahead.
Okay. So just to answer your question, based on my experience, because I've been using LMS since 2011. We've been doing a lot of trainings abroad. Just to share with you what we did before is before participants go to a classroom setting, or before a participant go to a actual check-in session, we really ask them to access first the LMS, because if they don't access the LMS, they cannot go to the next step. We cannot say to them that, hey, you can attend the check-in session, because you cannot attend the check-in session because you haven't accessed the LMS. Before COVID, we have this distant learning program where we invite people to go to the training center if they already finished the LMS. That's one of the strategies that we did. But right now, of course, we cannot do those kind of things. We need to, how do you say this? We need to reward them, or we need to give an instructions to them that this is your learning journey. So these are the methodologies that you need to do. You need to access a certain content in an LMS. You need to finish an learning content in an LMS. Then After that, you're going to go to the next journey. So explaining to the participants, explaining to your learners about their learning journey is very important. That's what I said a while ago in my presentation. You really need to know who are your participants, who are your target participants. Then after that, you can create an how do you say this, strategies on how to make them follow your instructional design or instructional field. So basically, that's the thing that we're doing right now. We really need to explain to them that this is your learning journey. At the end of the when you attend this a certain content, when you finish this a certain content, you're going to go to the next one until you finish it. And as I mentioned also a while ago, gamification works, right, Alpha? Gamification really works. And right
Absolutely.
now, a lot of attendees or a lot of learners really want to have this badges, rewards. If they finish a certain milestone, they go to a certain milestone because some of the learners are, let's say, gamers. They like playing games. So that's one of the techniques how you engage people to access the learning content. How about you, Alpha? What are your tips on how people could access the learning contents?
I think you're the expert, man. You already spit everything already. No, I think Ray, you already covered most of the things here, right? Uh, I see something happening in the market, and if you see some of the solutions in the United States, where I'm from, the LMS in that market is way advanced to what other things we see, for example, in Southeast Asia, right? You can actually see an LMS whereby any user on the platform can develop their own content and they can share it within their own company, right? So what we are now starting to see in the market is content solutions that are actually being driven by the users themselves. So you might have, for example, a marketing manager. She's not an L&D director. She is a full-blown director, right? She's managing a marketing division. And maybe possibly she has some best practices of how to communicate your messaging to a client, all right? Or how do you position your brand effectively in the market, right? That's a topic that could be transferable to any division within the company, right? And when people see content that's already developed by the people they can relate to or the people they know, there is motivation to want to see that content, right? Like I work with Ray every day. I'm like, whoa, Ray developed this content on marketing. I know Ray is a marketing expert in our company. I want to see what Ray is about, and people will look at that content, right? So what we see happening in some of these companies is the the internal experts in different areas are also driving the development of the content solutions in the market we serve. Right. So I think that's also encourages people to take the courses, engage, and most importantly, to actually open the content. There is a reason people don't open the content, possibly communication. Right. Most of the time, they don't even know the content exists. Right. What kind of notifications are you providing them? And of course, incentive. Right. So I like that fact whereby it's a prerequisite to something they really have to do, so they have to go in and open up the platform. And I've seen companies doing competitions. Let's say they have a competition to whoever finishes this course in the next 5 days, they'll get a sticker or they'll get a Starbucks gift card or credit, right? And you can see massive adoption of the product from first-time users and existing users from that point. Of course, part of that is first, they need to know that the platform exists. That's number one. Secondly, they need to know that there is content that's beneficial for them. All right. If people don't see that, they have no incentive of logging in. They would focus on other things, but if they don't log in, then you're not going to be able to train them. So I think those are some of the things we have seen other users and developers in our portfolio of clients are doing to motivate people to logging in, to access all their content, and most importantly, to share the experiences of using content. That's another big one, Ray. When people watch content, only to just say like or dislike. We at Prospark with like a social learning experience whereby people have access to the forums, discussion board, and they can comment or start a topic about a training they did. That's available, that the forum is available across for the whole company. And people can comment about the course. And when you see people comment about, oh, I didn't understand this topic. Do you guys took it? Yes, I took it. Oh, go take it and come back to me. And that encourages engagement and knowledge transfer and discussion. That also helps to drive content adoption, and most importantly, for people to take their courses. I hope I answered you, Pak Haryanto.
Yes, actually, you did answer my questions. Thank you very much. I agree with all your answers. I think we can do a lot of things to engage people with our content, and you just hit the nail with some of your answers, like making sure that the learning package is part of a strategy, and then provide reward, and then user-generated content. I think it's another strategy that we can use. Gamification, and probably also social learning.
Yeah.
Make sure that their learning is part of a group. I think that also helps in driving them to engage more with the content.
I see.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I probably would like to see more examples of gamification if you have more examples of that. But thank you very much for your answers.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The next question, Ray, is I think from Shells.
Yeah.
So I came in late, but does Prospark have analytics feature that allows professors, facilitators to grade learners, or for other learners to grade the output of other learners? Yes. So our product allows people to take a course online. As you saw, I failed the course and I instantly got my grade. All right. So you don't have to wait for a manual grading. At Prospark, you can do multiple choice, fill in the blanks, essay editing or essay uploading. You can also upload your video as a response to a quiz. And we have our tool, or maybe a professor or an admin or a trainer who oversees some of these things to make sure that you actually get your grade. So yeah, I mean, I know the challenges nowadays is if you have a lot of students or employees to grade, that can take hours and hours and hours, and there's a mistake, and maybe you want the data instantly, that can just prolong, right? So our product allows you, yeah, absolutely, it's hours and hours, maybe days and days to grade. So that's the benefit of a product like a Prospark, right? Because it allows you to, everybody log in, you put the text out there, people take it, it's timed, and you can see who passed and who didn't pass, and you can see the data instantly on the dashboard. All right. So I think that's one of the core benefits of our learning management system. Okay. I think somebody asked about too many. Okay. I think shows again, too many content to choose from. I think that's a very good, interesting question, Ray. So other customers, they say, I don't have enough content and my people are not logging in. And then you might have a customer who says, oh, wait, there's too much content out there and my people are overwhelmed. And how do they choose which content applies to them, right? Ray, maybe you want to take this, or you want me to take it?
Yeah, you can take it, Alpha. Then I'm going to give you my insight.
So I think when you look into this, right? Again, that's true. There's a lot of economics research done out there whereby too many options is not necessarily a good solution, right? And too little options is not necessarily a good solution. So what exactly is the right optimum solution for your company or for your organization, for your school, in terms of the content you need? Again, the answer is simple. Your user. Your user should be the one driving the decision of the content you need to have, because you know the type of users you have. Are you targeting the content for staff level, mid-level, or senior level? Is it for students? Is it for admin? Is it for principals? Those are the people who are driving they should be driving your content development strategy. The biggest challenge we see in these markets is we are still stuck in the old traditional ways whereby things are always top down in our approach. I know it's culture sometimes, I understand that. People feel like they're being pushed or forced to take something they cannot relate to, right? And we see that there's always a pushback from that because, as you say, sometimes, from Pacarianto, people don't even log in because they have no incentive of taking that course. Most likely, the course is not related to their professional development or their own things they have to do. And most importantly, think about micro-learning opportunities whereby, I think I mentioned it last week, people want to be trained in things they need to learn maybe in the next 2 days. Possibly they have a presentation to a client, they need to learn about communicating. They need to learn about packaging a deck. They need to learn about how to position your product effectively, right? Those are the things they need to deliver in the next 2-3 days. So possibly the content you should make available in your ecosystem is content applicable to the job description or job division and their day-to-day of the activities that they're actually doing. Now you're micro-targeting and they're really providing a focused training that is addressing certain competencies within your company. I think, to me, that is why that could work, right? Millions of content modules in so many different marketplaces, companies are paying so much money, I can guarantee you adoption is very low. Over to you, Ray.
Yeah, I agree with Alpha. As I mentioned a while ago in the slides that I shown with you, you're teaching adults. And adults want to only learn things that matter to them. We don't teach them a lot of theories. We don't teach them a lot of things. They're straight to the point. If people see that there's a lot of things that they need to chew or to digest, they will not like your contents. They will just shut down the content and move forward to other content. You need to be direct to the point. Adult learning, they only want things that they can relate and things that they need. They don't want other things, the things that they can use with their job. So as a content developer, content creator, you should always see, or you should always look at your content if this content relates to the needs of your learners. So I guess that's the most important thing that you need. Check who are your learners, what are the things that they want to learn, and also always look at the adult learning principles. Be problem oriented, look at their experiences that happen to them, how does their experiences relate to the learning that they want to know. So those kind of things that you need to put it in your e-learning modules, e-learning contents, and when you plan your next online learning, you should put in place those kind of elements. Okay, thank you for that question.
Very good question. Very, very good question. And just to add something, a lot of companies still struggle with that. A lot of organizations still struggle with that. So, the journey of developing content is always evolving. There is no one way leading to the highway solution, okay? Everybody will always come in with their own perspective. At the end of the day, I'll reiterate or I'll reinstate what I just said. Focus on your user. Your user is the one who has the answer. Your user is your customer, internal customer. Make sure they are also responsible and the center hub of your content development strategy in your company. To me, that is the only solution available. Do you need more content? Ask your user. Do you need less content? Ask your user. They have the answer.
Yeah, definitely, Alpha. Basically, just to sum up this discussion,
yes.
We need to focus on the users.
Yes.
Not the content that you want to give to your users, but what the users needs.
Yep.
So content is king, but of course you need to look at the users or
Yeah.
the end users. Anyway, any questions from the audience that you want us to discuss more? Do you have any struggles with your content development? If not, I guess I highly recommend to contact ProSpark for your digital learning needs. We can discuss more about your problems with your learning content. You can contact ProSpark, sales at prospark.co. And we're happy to discuss more about your learning solution. If you're looking for a content developer, if you're looking for a very trusted LMS in the market. I know that there's a lot of LMS. Every day, I've been receiving tons of emails saying that this LMS works for you, this LMS works for you, this is a model-based LMS. But if you want to learn more about ProSpark, please approach us, and we're going to show you a real life LMS, and you can tinkle your LMS, and you can put some contents. And we're happy to share with you our expertise in terms of content development and the LMS. Okay, so with that, thank you very much for attending this session. I guess this is an intimate session, but we've discussed a lot of things about content development. I hope to see you again next week as we discuss other things in the e-learning industry. Alpha, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I think I want to say thank you, Mr. Ray, for the opportunity. This is our 4th episode at this spot. We at ProSpark, we are privileged and lucky to be in partnership with Learning Innovation Hub, Philippines. Happy to work with Ray. Ray is a great guy, great expert in so many things related to learning and development. So I think it's always good to give respect to the people who are building this LMD ecosystem every day in Southeast Asia. Yeah, so again, tune in next week. I think we have an interesting surprise of a guest. Of somebody who has spent a lot of time in the HR space, and would like to hear their views in terms of how they think about LMD, how they think about skills. Because I think right now, as we are transitioning into the new norm, from the new norm to, I guess, another new norm, we know that there will be new skills required to meet the needs of the new era, right? So are your employees ready? And what do you need to do to train and make sure the employees are equipped for the new norm? So I think that's a direction where we're going to really spend some time, because this is a very important topic, and a lot of companies are struggling, or organizations are struggling to figure out the recipe for that. So yeah, so we think we're going to target that next week. And I think we'll be bringing in some interesting guest speakers or panelists, and it's going to be a very lively, engaging session. So tune in, and we'll see you next week, Thursday. Thank you very much, and have a good day, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, and take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.